Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Flores. I'm the production manager for UC San Diego's Department of Music. It's my pleasure to open and introduce you to the best of ICAM and our very first live presentation on the part of the Department of Music. It's very sad and upsetting that we have to present this in this manner. This particular group of individuals, our undergraduates and our graduating seniors, are among our most talented students in this department. And eventually, they will be our most successful. We're very excited to present their creative work, and we are, my department particularly, are very honored to support these students in their live engagement and their future endeavors, that launch to future endeavors. We were joking about how I should introduce this session whenever we're where we should be, which would be the experimental theater, or in this case, for this type of concert, all over this building, because many of these pieces would have involved a petting zoo with live materials outside, or you would have been involved in seeing the an installation, an immersive experience. We'll try to bring that to you now. They'll walk you through some of their projects, what their intent was, and they'll also provide you with links to their project sites to see what other music they're working on now, what they're producing, what they're planning to do, what they've already done, and what they will bring to us in the future. We're so proud of these students, and we're proud to have you with us as our audience. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and every night, and we look forward to seeing you in person. In the meantime, please feel free to contribute to the chat as they are, as we present the works. They will, if you have questions, we're going to go back and forth. We're going to present 3 to 4 pieces in a row, then go to the Zoom discussion session. You'll see the whole course and all the presenters live, and their instructors, Shirok and Shlomo, as they moderate the questions. But we look forward to speaking with you. So it'll be 4 pieces, and then a 10-minute discussion, and then another section. So for a total of 20 pieces. All right. Enjoy the best of ICAM. You're live. Yeah, Shlomo, it's all you, buddy.
Okay, so hi everybody, and thank you for having me and being part of this celebration of ending another class of ICAM, the Interdisciplinary Computing in the Arts major, which is I don't know if to say the flagship, but it's one of the most successful programs in UC. And now I hear myself like 3 times on YouTube and here, so it's a little confusing. So forgive me for the technical difficulties. I think this is our way of dealing with the situation in the way that will continue the momentum of all the creative work that was started in it. This is a 2 quarters project. Sometimes it takes even longer because people have been thinking and working in their creative ways throughout the 4 years, and then definitely towards the last year, where our students have the chance to put together a piece that represents the total knowledge and the creative drive that they had throughout the training, the classes, the practice that they did. And computing in the arts is really an experimental field. So I think we'll have a lot of very interesting projects, ideas, multimedia, all kinds of combinations of music production, multimedia, things that involve text, visuals. I mean, each one had their own creative thrust, his own creative idea. Programming, of course, is also involved in the computing part. So stay tuned for wonderful presentations, and I'll pass, I don't say the baton. I'll pass the microphone, or we switch Zoom to Shirok, please.
Shirok, we need you to unmute. Try again.
I think it's good now. We've been teaching over Zoom for quite a while, but it is still quite amazing and fresh. Thank you for that introduction, Jessica and Shlomo. So you've said many things about what this presentation is, so I'll keep it really short. But before everything, I want to thank all the students for all the hard work that they have done. It's I've had the honor to work with them, to understand their project, learn what they do. And also it's been really a privilege to share these moments with them in such an intimate way. When I say intimate way, as they said, this is a project of 6 months, 2 quarters, but really it's a project of multiple years. They have come here, and this is the project that they have done as their senior project, which showcases not only their abilities, but also their passion and vision. So it's been truly a pleasure to be a part of it, and there are many, many fantastic projects. Who knew we would be at this stage experiencing the pieces through this medium? But what I'm amazed at is passion always comes through. It doesn't matter what medium we work in. It doesn't matter what we do as artists, and especially technologists who want to apply that to the art. You will see that. So I hope you'll enjoy the show. And again, thanks to everybody for all the projects that you have done. I'm excited to see this last version of it all together.
Hi, I'm Tianyi Cao. I'm a 4th-year ICAM music student with a double major in cognitive science. This is a short introduction of my senior project, Zhiyin. Zhiyin literally means knowing the tune and understanding the music in Chinese. It is also used to describe a close friend or a soulmate. In my project, I created a rhythm game with pieces that I composed using Chinese traditional instruments and Chinese pentatonic scale. Currently, there are 3 pieces with different difficulty levels to play. These pieces were named after some of Chinese most famous ci, which is a type of Chinese traditional poetry. In the following video, I will show you some gameplay clips of each level. Please enjoy.
car can't stop crashing. I still lead the way. I live for reaction, and I heard you here to stay. I still lead the way. I heard how you felt me, the way that you sang. Oh girl, when I touch it, all you do is say my name. I still lead the way. I still lead the way. Oh, I said, baby, come through. Like you got nothing to do. Be alone here with you. And nothing that I won't do.
I like to party, you like to party, come here and kick it with me. I like to party, you like to party, we like to party, okay. I like to party, like to party, come here and kick it with me. I like to party, you like to party, we like to party, okay. Yeah, we can kick it at my show. Take a flick, catch a moment with a photo. Keep your girls waiting, we go moving slow-mo. Puff it loud, burn it to the cherry on that wood, go. Yeah, break it down, roll it, till you just can't stop, now blow it. You know we in the wild, wild west, so you rockin' with the best. I like to party, come here and kick it with me. I like to party, like to party, like to party.
Welcome everyone, my name is Kevin Cervantes and today I will be walking you through my senior project. My project is called Brokehouse Audio, and essentially what I did was take my mixing engineering hobby and turn it into a full-time online business. Now the focus behind the business is to provide online mixing engineering services to artists and musicians that are in the market for that specific thing. And to go along with that, I created a web page that has a portfolio section displaying the work I have previously completed, and it also links to 2 social media pages that I will demonstrate more in detail. One of those is an Instagram page and one of those is a YouTube page. Now, the YouTube page serves a very specific purpose. I will be creating a knowledge database there. I will be uploading videos that relate to mixing engineering specifically. So I'll be doing software demonstration, mix walkthroughs, instructional videos. And the intent behind that is that people will see my workflow, they will hear the way my music sounds, and hopefully that generates a flow between the web page, the YouTube page, and the actual business. I will now be walking you through the specifics of the project, including a short overview of my web page, along with a brief demonstration of what I like to do when I approach a mix, just so it is clear what kind of signature and what kind of sound I am going for. When you get to my webpage, the first thing you see on the home tab is my logo along with my name and my title down at the bottom. Then you have the credit section, which is essentially the portfolio area I mentioned earlier. And then you have a media section where I link back to my YouTube page, and then you can also find my Instagram link on the top right, so you can click it and it will redirect you there. And then finally, I have a contact page. If you wish to work with me, you can leave your name, your email, and all the details of the project at hand, just so we're on the same page. Now, going back to the credit section, the portfolio section, I would like to briefly use this song down here called Fentanyl by Miss Fortune to demonstrate the way I like to approach a mix, the way I like to work. So the way I like to start a mix before I do anything to the tracks is that I do a very rough fader mix. What a fader mix is that you just simply grab these faders and you adjust the volume so that everything's audible without doing any other processing to it. So once I have a very rough fader mix, I can actually listen to what problems the individual tracks have, and then I can proceed to treat them as a whole. Now, when approaching a mix, one thing that is essential to my sound, to my workflow, is that I like to keep the original intent, the original feel intact. At the end of the day, the song belongs to the musician, not to the mix engineer. So I always keep that in mind. Now, working within those boundaries, I feel like my music has a very specific sound. I like to make my music very loud, very punchy, in your face, while at the same time keeping all the instruments very clear and audible. So I will take a section of this song, the song Fentanyl by Miss Fortune that I mentioned, off my webpage, and I will turn off all the processing I did to the tracks, all the effects that I put on there, just so we can all hear what the song sounded like before I worked on it. So the song doesn't sound too bad. That's because of the volume, the fader mix that I did. Everything's audible just by messing around with the volume. Now I will be turning on all the processing I did, and we can compare what the song sounds like. That pretty much covers up the entirety of my project. I really hope that a mix walkthrough perfectly demonstrated the approach I'm taking when it comes to mixing, my sound, my signature. And I really hope this walkthrough demonstrated the thought process that went into this project. To everyone watching, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.
Hello, my name is Max, and I go as mEd.x in the studio, and as a producer, that's mEd.x. This first song is called Again, and it is about kind of my journey of figuring out who I am as a person and having to relearn lessons over and over again in different ways, but really appreciating the growth that I get to take from them. This next one is called Stardust, and it is inspired off of this idea of continuous change and growth as a person in this world, and that although change can be scary at times, positive change should never be forgotten, and it's always important to remember the good things you're doing for yourself.
So it's time to lean into it. I'm ready. Let's go.
This next song is called Skyscraper and is kind of an analogy for my dream as a producer through a skyscraper.
Some time to build, but with each level I'll gain a view. Something special, something new. Now the clouds are below. When I look up, all I see are the stars reaching out to me as I stand on my almost motherfucking skyscraper. I'll be standing on top, high in the sky, looking down on what I made. The sunset, sunrise, the ocean out west.
This final track is the last track I made as a part of my senior project, and I feel like really shows the amount of growth I've been able to have as a producer throughout this process. I'd like to give a big thanks to my family, friends, and classmates through supporting me for all of it, and I hope you enjoy this last song. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's all I've got time for today. Again, my name is mEd.x, mEd.x. If you have a chance, please go check me out on Spotify or SoundCloud. I'd super appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Now. So Zoom session, this is, you're live now. It's a 26-second delay. So if you're looking at YouTube, don't stop. You can link at the chat. But I think you guys are already giving each other shout outs during the pieces, and that's pretty awesome, the support you gave one another. I'm gonna monitor the feed. Shirok's monitoring the feed to see if any questions. I didn't see any questions yet, except, yeah. If you guys have questions, just unmute and talk amongst yourselves. And I think we should start first piece. And sharing links. I'm gonna go mute.
At this time, you can unmute yourself and ask if whoever has questions.
I just want to say I am so thankful.
You guys, this is what they call dead air.
I'm very thankful to all my classmates and teachers. Y'all really have helped me believe in myself and become the artist I am today. And I am very, very, very much honestly going to miss our class sessions where I just get to hang out with kids my age doing the same thing. It's definitely been what's been hardest about COVID for me. But yeah, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. I had a question for Tianyi actually. There was a section in your app where it said it looked like you were going to expand and develop a few more ideas on the app. I was just curious about what that was exactly.
Do you mean the missing notes session or?
Yeah, I think that's.
So that's basically a function in the game right now. If you miss a note, then like it's kind of weird sound will going on, and this like will break the piece, which makes the piece like don't be that pleasant. So you want to like practice harder and play the maybe one music piece back again and again, just in order to practice it better, so that you don't get that weird sound.
Okay. No, yeah, you look like you're a pro at it already. Those ones, they were coming down pretty fast. You're nailing all of them.
Yeah. Thank you. The coming soon. Oh, that's basically because I think like if only putting 3 squares in the sounds like manually feels kind of awkward. So I just put a 4th there, but I don't have the 4th music piece right now, so I just put the coming soon. And I hope in the future, I think I will still composing some more song with Chinese traditional instruments and just arranging notes for them and putting them in the game. Yeah.
Dope. Yeah. Hopefully we see it soon then.
Sure. I'll try my best.
Marcel, tell us about your rig, man. What are you using?
About the setup. So I have a turntable, and the mixer or controller I'm using is the DDJ SX2. It's made by Pioneer. I was just running Serato through that, and to actually make the music that I was playing, the production that I had, I was using Ableton and a mix of Reason. And yeah, that's basically the setup. I use a lot of guitar and a lot of bass, and there's a lot of influence from producers like Jay Dilla, Ninth Wonder, the Neptunes as well. But so yeah, that's what you were hearing, and that was the setup.
Nice, man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I was actually wondering if the vocal tracks were like you singing, or did you take different tracks from somewhere else?
Yeah, two of the tracks out of those 5 were mine. There were 3 others that I got influence and inspiration from to create my productions. But yeah, that was my voice on it. I'm still learning my voice and like how to use it as an instrument, but it was a fun process. Trying to learn how to use it.
No, it sounded really good.
So I'm monitoring the YouTube feed and don't see any questions other than to ask if Kevin has the student discount.
I always do, always.
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin, what's the student discount look like?
You can talk to me privately. I don't want to hand out my discounts here yet.
Yeah, but it's only good for a week for you guys.
Exactly.
Kevin is worth whatever he charges, period, end of story.
Oh,
But don't tell me that, because then I'll go crazy on the prices.
Oh, King Brit wants to buy Marcel's album. You, Marcel, you have a Bandcamp, right?
Yeah, I do. It will be on Bandcamp pretty soon. It's not officially up right now, but keep an eye out for it.
You got that, King? Donations accepted via Bandcamp. We're wrapping up close to the end of this discussion session. Does anyone else have anything else for the first group?
Loved it.
Fantastic. Let's go to the next group.
All right. So the time is the time is about 26 seconds. So heads up. More chat. Let's see. Mute your Zoom.
Actually, for people on YouTube, it's immediate. That's for us that we get a delay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mason Davis, and for my senior project, I'll be presenting a recording of an original composition by my collaborator, Ziju Zhang, who plays guitar. I play drums, and Lewin Demont plays bass. But before I do, I'd like to briefly explain the background of this piece and how COVID-19 totally reshaped our approach to it. So originally, the plan was, over the course of this quarter, to record this tune along with 3 others, all being a jazz trio at the ICAM studio. But with COVID-19 shutting down our campus along with most of the rest of the country, our plan was kind of dead in the water for multiple months, it felt like, until about a month ago. Ziju got his own audio interface, which meant that now we could all at least record something individually and at the end bring them together into a single piece, which is what I did here. And it feels like it took even longer than it would have to record 3 tunes, but finally, after a lot of track passing back and forth, we came to something that we could at least be happy with in light of the situation. So with that, please enjoy the tune Not Yet.
Hello, my name is Kaz, and it's short for Kazuya. I am Japanese. For my senior project, I wanted to make a collection of songs that I felt had like a Japanese feel or characteristic to it. If you don't know what that means, Japanese music or like Eastern music and Western music are a bit different in terms of how they are kind of structured. In a lot of Western music, they'll use like a 4-chord progression, and that'll change a little bit and be rearranged, those 4 chords throughout the song, but for the most part it'll carry on through the whole song. And this is good. It's not bad. It's just different because in like Eastern music and what I'm focusing on, Japanese music, there is a lot of use of like gospel inspired chord progressions, and they'll kind of achieve this with like diminished chords, a lot of diminished chords, and modal interchange, and like longer, a little more complex like melody lines. And it's something that I wanted to capture with these songs. Yeah, however, due to COVID-19 and also my own sickness, I was unable to put vocals on these tracks at this time. So what I'm going to show you is actually just a pure instrumental track, which is unfortunate because, as I was saying, one of the components of that Japanese like feel is the melody, and sadly I can't show you that. All I can show you right now is the instrumental, which I'm sorry for. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. The song is called Hitori, which in Japanese means like alone or just by yourself. And what I'm trying to convey is like a feeling of brokenness and isolation, probably inspired by our current situation. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Thank you for listening, and yeah.
is Shinjuku. The doors on the left side will open.
My name is Francis, and I look at California and the people that live there. We're live?
Yeah.
So these are my travel brochures. I have like so many of these. I have hundreds of them
Yeah.
from like every county. This is a project about a project I would like to do in the future. But yeah, like I was just picking up papers across all of California. I've been doing this since 2018. I collect travel brochures. I have hundreds of these. That's a San Diego brochure.
Oh yeah? Why do you say that one's the real one and that one's like...
Because it's sponsored by San Diego. We have a logo. Yeah.
Downtown San Diego, Balboa Park, La Jolla, Del Mar.
We send everyone to Balboa.
Yeah.
Whale watching. Mostly coastal stuff. We don't send people inland at all. My name is Francis, and I've been to every county in California. It's crazy how they give out these pieces of paper for free, even though like they're as tall as me. Hello, my name is Francis, and the title of my project is Localizing the Visitor. I wish to make an exhibition about every county in California. But in order to understand why I wish to do that, we first have to interrogate the concept of the visitor. Because the visitor does two things. They idealize and they sympathize. They idealize because they walk in with expectations. These are from two locations. This is from the area around Napa Valley, and this is from Central Valley. And the visitor walks in perhaps with the expectation for thrill at an amusement park, for the expectation of luxury at a vineyard, the rustic farmer's market of the escape to nature. And these ideas transfer to travel brochures. There are some that point at a history. For example, Cannery Row. Like San Francisco is a place that has both old and new vineyard kind of thing. Like the idea of the beach, the sunset. Travel brochures contain these idealized expectations, and people chase what they see in travel brochures. They see these things as the authentic, and they look for it when they go there. They look for the theme park in Vallejo. They look for the food in Central Valley. But then visitors also do this thing called sympathizing. I myself am from the city of Vallejo, which is known as the first city in the 2008 recession to go bankrupt, and Opportunity just ended up leaving the city. But the in-between of these two extremes is life. They're a place where people live, but life's more complicated than those things. Sonoma Boulevard is the central street in Vallejo. Despite being a high crime area at one point, the street today holds many restaurants, which to residents of the area is hopeful and a refreshing sight after these restaurants have been gone for a long time. Alta Vista Elementary School is the only elementary school in East Porterville. Even as drought sat as a barrier in the way to progress, residents say that Alta Vista later helped bring them to new futures and careers across Central Valley. Life's not good, not bad, but ordinary. That's how people that live in cities see it. So, therefore, it's necessary to do this activity called necessary cartography, because there's a difference between lived and visited experience. What a travel brochure represents is it doesn't reflect a city, it reflects yourself. It shows you what you expect a place to be like. It summarizes what you're looking for. What can this place do for me when they're looking at a place? What are my values? What do I expect? So, the exhibition I wish to make one day, I wish to make a guided and cartographic experience that connects the lived experience of locales to visitors of locales. Because like these places aren't designed to be visited. These places are places. People live here. Because travel brochures direct your attention towards things that you're already expecting to notice. They show you maps and they show you monuments. And these maps and monuments represent what you're looking for in a place. What I wish to do is I wish to replace these. and I wish to replace these with the experiences of people. I wish to problematize travel brochures. It's a 3-wall projection where in the middle is a map, and on the left and the right are recreations of panels of the travel brochure. I wish to interview one person from every county, have them tell me what places are important in their city, what are monuments to a visitor. Viewers of this exhibition can go compare and contrast the real travel brochure against the 3-wall exhibition that contains my commentary. I wish for people to just gain a deeper empathy for people that are very far away from them. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Hi everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the work that I've put together for my senior project. I like to call it the Trip Chamber. The Trip Chamber itself was an idea inspired by the Flume mixtape visualizer, which you are currently watching segments of. It was this beautiful music video that really made me think about the power of combining audio with visual stimulus, which is something that's, fairly known, but this really made me think about how beautiful it can be and how together they can really accentuate each other. The initial concept of the Trip Chamber was to create an experience. I wanted to combine original music with synchronized lighting as a way to make people take a step back and in this fast-paced world just kind of appreciate music on a level that's not background. Really force you to dig deep into it and really just appreciate it for what it is in the moment. Sort of like a personal concert. And of course, due to our strange moment in history, myself and all of the other students here had to rework our projects in a way that would be digestible through online means. When faced with this, I instead decided to aim my efforts towards making lighting easy and accessible to the average Ableton Live user. To do this, I created a lighting setup that utilizes Live's interface, and I also programmed several Max for Live patches that allow users to control the setup with music devices that they likely already have somewhere in their room. So yeah, let's just jump into it. First I'll get into the technical aspects of it all. So really it all starts off with the DMXs. So the DMXs is a MIDI to DMX controller that allows music notes to be used as lighting control impulses. These MIDI notes are sent out by Ableton Live, as you saw briefly, and are sent to the DMX decoder that is in that corner there. This decoder then sends out impulses that are understood by lighting that can control the different channels, so you can pick different colors, fade in, fade out, all sorts of different lighting effects. And here I have the LED strips snaked through acoustic panels in a decorative manner. But really you can put them however you want. You can create any sort of light show with them. You could put them on stage for your own personal use, maybe let's say like a home theater of some sort, studios, any sort of thing like that. So this is the DMX's plugin. It comes with the unit and it's one of the best tools you can have for lighting, especially if you're a musician. This allows you to control lighting with all sorts of features, with oscillators, with an XY axis. It has all sorts of presets and modes. It has libraries of fixtures. It's one of the best things to have in your lighting arsenal. Now, one of the best things about it is that you can control any of its 512 channels with MIDI. Now, what this means is you can map a group or a single channel to an accompanying MIDI note. And when you hit that MIDI note on your keyboard, it will increase its value based on the velocity or pressure that you put on the key. In theory, this is incredible, but in practice, it's not the best, because that would mean that you would have to hit the 3 keys that control the 3 channels for the colors in the perfect combination of pressures to create the color that you want. It's not really realistic if you're trying to get some complex colors like a deep purple or any of those that require a little bit of each of the channels. You need to hit one of the keys really softly while the other one really hard, and it's just not realistic. So this got me thinking about different ways that we can use this feature with Max for Live to control it in a much more efficient way and much more intuitive, really. So this brings me to the Synesthesia Max patch. And although this looks kind of scary, what it does is basically it takes an incoming MIDI note and outputs 3 MIDI notes that correspond to the 3 color channels, the RGB, and will send out these notes with values that will create the color that you desire. So basically, instead of having to press 3 keys in the right pressure, you just hit a single key, no matter how hard, and it'll output the color and the strip that you want, and the way that you want. And this is really handy because you can play chords, you can, play a song, and as you're doing this, there's your lighting just behind you at the touch of a button, you won't even have to think about it. It can be completely musical. You can put no thought into it, and there you go. Your lighting is done for you. So as an example, here I am playing with my MIDI keyboard. As I go down, as you notice, I have it set up in a rainbow, and I'm skipping the black keys, but they also put out their colors as well. And you can play your songs, you can play your chords, you can do anything you want that's musical, and you can just have instant lighting response. You don't need a lighting technician. You can just hammer away at it, and you can just have your show going for you. It's really quite intuitive and wonderful. It's wonderful. After a while, I realized I could translate this to any MIDI device and create another one for a launchpad. So here I have each row corresponding to a different color, and each column corresponding to a single strip. So here my leftmost strip is in the leftmost column, and every single pad creates a different color on it. This allows you to very easily just program your lighting show without much thought at all, really. It's right there before you. You can go crazy with it, as you can clearly see. Now, as fun as this is, it seems kind of like a waste to just keep it to myself, so I've made a dedicated website with all of the knowledge that I've collected over these 2 quarters, all of the resources, all the tips and tricks, step by step how I create any of my shows, all the software necessary, all of the hardware, how to wire it all. I've even showed how to make my specific setup, and all of that is right there for you. You can learn everything I've learned, and I just hope that people can find use in the things that I've built and can use them for their own purposes. But you might be saying, what's the point? So I'm going to stop jabbering about the technicalities of it, and I'm just going to show you an example. Possibilities of this technology, and I hope you find use in it. Thank you so much.
And we're live. You guys are chilling out because that was so rad. I'm sorry, I'm using the terminology of my people. I'm very old. So it would be how your parents would say that was cool. Or whatever young people say.
Well, that was amazing, guys. So, yeah.
There's a question that says, Diego, can you link the website in the chat?
Most definitely. I'll do that in a minute.
I can put it up on the YouTube chat so everybody sees it. If you have any other questions. These projects are so varied and fantastic.
I have a question. All right, so Diego, so I was noticing that a lot of your compositions feature a lot of different samples, and those samples were reflected visually within your music. Can you talk about like what other compositional decisions you made to like make this as trippy as possible?
Yeah, so I guess for this show, I really just wanted it to really be universal, right? I kind of told a little story of someone waking up and then kind of a little bit about their day. I'm not sure how much the colors shone through with the camera, but I guess it was really made easy because no matter what I chose, I can just, Ableton is incredible in that it has a lot of audio to MIDI techniques. And no matter what the rhythm is of your sample, you can just use those to get like the rhythmic elements of your samples. And then all you have to do is shift it around to the colors you desire. And, you know, the I call it Good Morning, that little snippet. And I just really wanted it to be something that everyone could relate to, you know, like going from like a dream state into being woken up rudely by your alarm. That's pretty universal. Everyone can relate to that. So it's a really easy way to tell a story.
How long did you work on that for, Diego?
How long did I work on it for?
Yeah.
Well, I think the first iteration probably took me like a week straight, but kind of like all-nighters and stuff, just figuring out the data manipulation. But then once I had that down, making a couple others for different devices got a lot easier. And if you compare my first patch, which was the one I showed in the video, it looked like a spider web, it looks like a nightmare. Eventually they get a lot more streamlined, they're a lot prettier to look at, you can actually tell what's going on. And those probably took me just like a night or two. And you know, as you iterate and learn more, it just gets so much easier. And I'm hoping like the next step is to turn it into a VST so that even people that don't use Ableton and don't have Max for Live, you can just, you know, use it in your DAW of choice.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question for Francis. I was wondering if you would want this to only be presented in California, or if you wanted this to eventually become like a nationwide thing, or like even worldwide if you thought that far.
It's a very interesting question because Californian travel brochures come from the California Welcome Centers. But California Welcome Centers are like owned by this company called Visit California, which is owned by this company called USA Brand, whose like mission is to like brand like all 50 states. So like I'm very familiar with California. I'm like very familiar with like the culture of California and the people of California. But like just like going deeper into like this idea of like US brand and like place branding in general, like is like something that would be like very interesting for like me to like get into.
I have a question for Kaz. So in the beginning of your piece, when you're describing it as Japanese and talking about like the various harmonic techniques that you use that were kind of uniquely Japanese, like describing modal changes, I believe. Could you talk to that point? I may have an idea, but I would like to just hear what you'd have to say and how that
So, like
influenced in your music.
Yeah, I didn't show it in this piece, but a lot of modal interchange, if you don't know, it's like when you're borrowing a chord from a different scale. So usually you'll go just like with the notes in a key, but with modal interchange, you'll borrow from a different chord. And then that makes like a certain feeling. That's what I know that they use that a lot in like Japanese music. So that's what I used in some of the other songs that I made, just not this one. But for this one, I just used a lot of like diminished chords, and then I relied heavily on like a lot of sevenths.
Could you talk to like how that would differ from like just going to another key because it's just so brief?
Yeah, you're only using like one chord, like just like to transition. Yeah.
This was such a synchronicity because Sarah Hankins asked almost the same question that Kenji asked on YouTube Live, and she's 20 seconds behind us. So this was really amazing that this happened.
Oh shoot, that's scary.
Yeah.
Any website.
When do you think you'll have the EP out, Cause, or the rest of it?
As soon as my throat will heal. I just gotta lay down the vocals, and then I can just mix it and send it off. So I'm hoping for around early September.
Nice. I think we're all looking forward to that.
Shall we move on to
I had a question for Francis. I was wondering if you had considered. I really like your idea, first of all, and I was wondering if you'd considered maybe on top of the installation, maybe reaching out to some people who are better at AR and could maybe like you could build an app for a phone that anyone could have, and then you allow people to intercede on the brochures like wherever they are, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I've considered that idea. Another idea that's been like floating around in my head is like actually like setting up something that's kind of like a California Welcome Center and like having like something that is kind of like a tourist stop and having people like pick up like my copy of a travel brochure alongside like the CWC's like copy of the travel brochure. So like, yeah, I've like definitely had all these ideas put together.
Yeah, I really like that project.
Any other questions? Move on to the next series.
Hello, my name is Jake Gray, and for my senior project, I will be presenting a multimedia project called Telamiron. But before I get into the project, I would like to provide some background and context on what it is and how my project has changed because of COVID-19. Telamiron is a text-based, story-driven video game, soundtrack and sound design, and a custom-built console to play it on. All three elements of this project relied on in-person collaboration with friends and classmates at UCSD, as well as access to labs and studios. Because of COVID-19, I was no longer able to complete the building of the console, use a studio, or collaborate with musicians who I had already begun work with. However, in a way, not forcing myself to have a version of the game ready in a couple months' time was a bit of a blessing in disguise, and allowed me to reshape my project for the long term. The intention for this project was always for it to be a personal project that would be worked on and improved after my graduation as well. At several points in my development, I've had to go back and redo the structure of the game, but this only benefits the finished project. I've decided to reshape the goal of my senior project to be a pitch for the production of a much larger video game, rather than the final product. However, you can currently play a demo of the game and listen to part of the soundtrack, as well as view the Telamiron website. This is a pitch for the development of a full game, as if we're waiting to be greenlit for the next version to be released. Please check the demo download if you wish to play the game yourself, or listen to the soundtrack under the Telamiron tab. If you want to download the demo of the game, go to the InDev Demo 1 tab, and there will be a download link down here. If you wish to view part of the, or wish to hear part of the soundtrack, you can scroll down to the music and sound design portion of the Telamiron tab. And there are several videos here to listen to, as well as documentation of the project. And if you wish to find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat, down here are social media links. Please go check out the demo yourself, and I will be around after to answer any questions, or you could contact me at my socials below. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shichenhao. I'm a fourth-year ICAM major student. For my senior project, I did a sound design for a video game. I choose to do this project is because it's a combination of two of my favorite elements, music and game. So I decided to put them together, and that's why I did this. So my original idea was to make this game by myself and add sound to it, but I got stuck on a blog for like 2 and 3 weeks. So I realized that I shouldn't spend so much time on the development of the game, but rather the sound making part. So I looked into a free game website and I found a game for myself. It's called Penguin Adventure, and I started to work on it. I used the 3 software for this project. The first one is Unity, the second one is Ableton, and the third one is Audacity. For most of the sound that I made in this game, I used recording techniques. And then I just add all kinds of sound effects such as pitch shifting, tempo change, equalization, all kinds of that. For example, there's a rocket sound in the game, which I used the sound of the hairdryer to make it like this. And it sounds like this after I add sound effect. And for the background music of the game, I decided to make EDM music because I just want to make something different than the traditional game music, like funny, peaceful music. I don't want to do that. I want to do something new. But after I put this background music in the game, I realized that there's too much bass in the game. So at the end, I only chose to use 3 of the tracks in this composition, which is pad, step high, and riff. And it sounds like this. And finally, let me introduce you my game, Penguin Adventure. Because of the time limit, I'm not going to show you all the different levels, but I'm just going to play like 2 levels for you. And let's get started. Let's go. yeah, that's about it. Let me know if you guys have any comments. And thank you.
Hello, my name is Margaux Katz, and this is my senior project. The inspiration behind my work was to externalize the dynamic tension between who I am versus who I want to be. I composed music and paired the songs with visuals to embellish upon the central theme of self-discovery and self-expression. My website offers you the ability to navigate my work at your own discretion, offering an interactive pseudo-installation experience. This piece overall represents an amalgamation of my interdisciplinary studies at UCSD and, most importantly, my humility. Each visual piece allows you to chronologically follow the progression of my personal narrative and self-discovery. Through this project, I've learned that who I am is completely interconnected with who I want to be, as this notion is where our lucid state walks in tandem with the dreams that we carry. This is the difference between. Please enjoy.
Hi, my name is Evan Kopshever, and for my senior project, I put together a 6-track EP called Say It Too. Say It's my artist name. It's all songs that I wrote, recorded, produced, and mixed on my own. So I'll kind of go and talk about the songs, talk about some of the challenges with making this and how I'm going to roll it out, and then getting into showing you the single from the project, which is called Home, featuring Ali. Yeah, so that a little background about myself first. I typically focus or have focused on digital production and composition and mixing as well. And so when it came to this project, it was a really fun opportunity to get back into writing and recording myself. I've sing and I've performed in the past, but not usually something I've wholeheartedly focused on. So this is a cool opportunity to kind of incorporate that with the things I was already doing. Yeah, so some of the challenges I dealt with, especially with COVID and everything, was mostly just the access to resources, not having the mics I wanted, not having the space to record or the plugins to produce a mix that I had hoped to. I think this ended up being positive for me though, because it really taught me to be resourceful with the things that I did have, recording in my garage on a sort of subpar microphone, producing and mixing with whatever plugins I had or the ones I could find. And just trying to make the most of the resources I had at my disposal. Then a final note kind of about how I'm going to be rolling this out. So this is all on SoundCloud, it's on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. I'll post links probably in the description or at the end of this video. But what I'm doing is for this first week, so starting today and going into next Wednesday, for every 30 streams total this project gets on SoundCloud, I'm going to be throwing $1 into a donation fund that will be going out to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the ACLU, and LA County COVID Relief. I may throw another organization in there, but I'm not super sure yet. But just a little something good I thought I could throw in with this project to help lift people's spirits during kind of a crazy time. So without further ado, I'm going to show you one of my favorite records from this Home, that kind of pop, disco-y, whatever, inspired record that I did with an artist named Ali from Louisiana, who I worked with before and is a super talented vocalist. So yeah, I want to thank UCSD, ICAM department for all the opportunities and all my professors for everything they taught me and all the support they've given me. So yeah, this is Home featuring Ali.
Where am I? I took an X just to try, fantasize. Will I make it back home tonight? Maybe I don't know. Yeah. But I don't care, as long as I find my way home. And what if I pulled on her heartstrings for a while tonight? I might, just to try and take her home. Hold on, yeah, I think I found my way home.
Too strong, can't stomach the burden. I'm too gone. Do not disturb me, I'm falling off. Call me in the morning, just give me a warning. I'm usually not one to talk, and I can't shake the thought that I was made for this. And I can only hope to God and pray for this. But maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to find my way home. I'm back on the road tonight. I'm out on the road, finding my soul tonight. Just let it all go, I gotta roll tonight. But baby, all I know is if I don't move fast, I'll never get past tonight. I'm out on the road, finding my soul tonight. Just let it all go, I gotta roll tonight. But baby, I don't know. I'm just trying to find my way home.
Where am I? I took an X just to try, fantasize. Will I make it back home tonight? maybe I don't know. Yeah. But I don't care, as long as I find my way home. And what if I hold on to heartstrings for a while tonight? I might, just to try and take her home. Hold on, yeah, I think I found my way home.
Last time I asked myself, am I right? I fucked up on my past life. Where in the face did you lie? You lied. This love, you thought that's all made up. Thought that's all I made up. But maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to find my way home.
Zoom is live.
Awesome.
Questions? Questions?
I just wanted to ask, I know, Evan, you mentioned that you were going to be streaming, putting this on all the streaming services, but I might have missed it. Are you going to put this on Bandcamp so you can buy it?
I hadn't planned it at this point, but I can always throw it up there. There's no no roadblock or anything like that. So yeah, not yet. But I mean, to your point, yeah, it's on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, a bunch of other weird ones. I don't really know the names too. So yeah, but if you guys want it on Bandcamp, I'll throw it up there as well.
There was a question of how long these projects take. You know, in some sense, it's you could say it's 2 quarters. You could say it's a whole life that goes to so many of these projects.
I have 2 questions. So the first question is for Shichenhao. So I'm also very interested in composing for video game music. Apologies. I'm very interested in composing for video game music, and I've kind of started to dip my feet in as well. And I was just interested because you said the softwares you used were Audacity, Ableton, and Simple Unity. And as I've been getting into it, I've noticed that like there's a lot of recommendations for like audio specific software like WWise and Fmod. So I guess could you go through how you just integrated it without those softwares?
So my project was mostly focused on the music making part, but not how I how I integrate the music with the game. So what I did, I just downloaded a free game sample and then changed all the music effect in the game to the sample and music that I made myself. So I didn't really do much coding and all the other software. So yeah.
Were there any difficulties just using Unity?
No, everything is fine. It's not that hard. It's
cool.
Just being creative, like how I make those samples.
My second question was for Evan. So like obviously your music is like reflective of your style and your personal character. I guess can you walk through like your creative process when you approach a song from the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, for this and in general, it's usually I'll start with the production, just because that's what that's kind of been my main focus, and that's where my expertise is, I guess. So for all of these, I basically started with a 16-bar idea, drew that out and kind of arranged it sort of into a song. Then I get to writing and recording and start mixing. Then go back to the production, start fitting the production around the vocals, and then to top it off, I'll add in the final vocals, like the little ad libs or harmonies or things like that. But yeah, usually the production comes first for me. That's just how I work.
Any other questions? We'll proceed to the next group. Group 4.
Yes.
All right.
Hello, my name is Alonso de la Peña. My project is a binaural rendition of a short narrative I created called El Camion. Throughout the quarter, I worked on the script, sound design, casting, and worked with a composer to develop the soundtrack for the project. To fully experience this, you will need headphones. Over the ear is best, but earbuds will do. El Camion takes place inside a bus. The bus driver, played by me, will take you through different stops of a San Diego city tour. As a listener, you will have the perspective of Maine, the main character of our story. As you listen, imagine you are listening through Maine's ears while sitting inside the bus. In this bus ride, a lot of unexpected events will happen to Maine, and he will also occasionally be visited by an ethereal young woman by the name of Daisy. Today's excerpt is abridged, but if you wish to listen to the full thing, I will leave a link in the comments. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy El Camion. Make sure you hear this on your left, and this on your right. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to El Camion, a mystical tour of San Diego. Thank you for boarding with us here at UCSD. Today, I promise you will be amazed at some of San Diego's most beautiful destinations while getting a good glimpse at daily life in this city. Be amazed, or get your money back. You can't really give them their money back, but saying it always gets a positive response. Like your sweater. I go there too, actually. Been doing this for like 3 years. Helps you pay off loans and all that. Can't wait to graduate. I had a friend who graduated already. Once a week, he would go up to Sun God and ask to be freed from his college debt. We all gave him shit for that. And I mean, I've never been much of a believer, but that motherfucker paid off his loans quick. Kinda makes me wanna... Listen up, folks, we're now entering the small town, which would eventually become the state of California. Ladies and gents, behold, historic Old Town San Diego. Step back, kid. That's how lawsuits get started, you know? Time for our next stop, folks. Off we go. At
do have to apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It seems the last driver was considerate enough to leave me a half-filled tank. Please briefly enjoy this beautiful gas station. Yeah, we'll continue our tour shortly.
What? You want some of this? Never mind. You know, we gotta learn to live.
You've changed. I knew you once. Sinful, but kind. Forgetful, yet memorable. Es que somos lo que hemos vivido. Y esto no es vida.
To be continued.
Hello, Carlos here. First off, I want to congratulate everyone here at the ICAM showcase, my peers specifically. Y'all did it. You finished your senior projects amidst this terrible pandemic and a very urgent moment in this country's battle to uproot its systemic racism. So hats off. I congratulate you all. As you can see here, I've got my my website pulled up, and the audience, you can come here and follow along at this link. It's criosdom.com, criosdom.com. You'll come to this website here, and you just got to go over here on the menu, go over to 10 seconds, and my senior project will pop up for you. So my project is a looping sound installation. It explores memory, resonance, and fundamental frequencies of different sounds. I originally was planning for 4 inputs and 4 outputs to be hung from the second story in the CPMC stairwell. That's the main music building at UCSD. And COVID actually provided a unique situation and challenge to where I was confined to my apartment. And so I'd worked and workshopped through that and decided I was going to use 2 ins and 2 outs. And I was going to install it in 4 different rooms of my apartment, just to kind of highlight how these different ambiances and outside noise, these varying levels of outside noise would affect it. So I'll just play a sample here. Let's see, I'll play Bathroom. This one's my favorite. Wonderful. So I do have these 1 to 2 minute clips. That's not the full recordings. Those are being compiled right now, and it'll be linked to on this page. But, reflecting on this little clip, you can hear how the real-time sounds repeat themselves, while at the same time become integrated with the inner system right here. And they kind of add to that drone as it kind of continues and builds. And I'm sure some of you could maybe imagine what that would sound like after an hour or two pass. The way I kind of see that is the way like our memories and narratives have these dominant properties that are inherent to us and our history, but at the same time are shaped and influenced by our current environment. Yeah, so y'all are free to look through all of these pictures and the sound clips. I also have a link right here to link to some wonderful videos of artists and inspirations that I got a lot of inspiration from. So we have Sam Battle. He's a wonderful YouTuber. Alvin Lucier, he's a pretty common reference in contemporary music, and John Luther Adams, which you can actually see at his installation at UCSD's Theater District. It's called the Wind Garden. It's part of the Stewart collection as well. So yeah, thank you so much. Congrats, everybody. I hope you enjoy this short little presentation.
Hello, my name is Chris Robinson, and for my senior project, I created a VST plugin, or an audio plugin. The synthesizer I created is a hybrid between a subtractive synthesizer and a wavetable synthesizer. The main part, which is the subtractive synthesizer, takes white noise and it bandpass filters it according to this purity value here. So for example, at 0%, it'll just sound like white noise. And at a higher purity value, you'll begin to hear a tone. And so you can scoot between the two. The wavetable synthesizer part of it includes these additional waveforms down here. So for example, you can add in a square wave and a triangle wave to this. Your classic ADSR. So like you can raise the attack. This garbage, wet and dry / garbage values, it takes a garbage value that your computer memory has stored, which generally, if you're coding something, you would always want to clear these values. But what I do is I insert them into your audio block, which completely degrades the sound, but I think it sounds kind of cool. It'll make a crackling noise. I also have a low pass filter, which ties into the filter envelope here. Yeah, so that's mainly what I have here. I decided to make this plugin for several reasons. First of all, with the subtractive synthesizer, I created a version in a different program called PD in a different class, and I really like the sound of it. And so I wanted to develop that into a VST plugin that I could use in my own music production. And the other reason is I wanted to learn how to create sounds from coding them, as opposed to just using pre-made wavetable synthesizers and that sort of thing. Which I guess brings me to my next point, which is how did I make this? So for this, I used this is my code. There's a lot of it over here. I use an application framework called Juice, which handles a lot of the nitty-gritty lower level stuff that you have to do in C++ for audio programming. The language I used is C++. Next, I would like to show a song that I created just using this synthesizer and some additional drums and audio effects. Anyway, thank you for coming to my talk.
Hello, I'm Nicole Rodriguez, an ICAM music major. For my senior project, I worked on the sound design for the film Lone Pair, directed by Emily Butler and Ryan Bradford. Lone Pair is an experimental science fiction short shot on 16mm film. The film explores the effects of technology on memory, relationships, and day-to-day life. My role as sound designer is to ensure that the themes, emotions, and messages envisioned by the directors comes through. A sound designer of an independent film must wear many hats. These include boom operator, Foley artist, editor, composer, and mixer. One unexpected challenge was having to work from home due to the COVID-19 quarantine. This required me to solve technical issues, such as learning how to build a computer. Coming up, I'll show you a clip of Lone Pair that illustrates how sound influences how one experiences the picture. Do note that much or most of the sound, including the dialogue and diegetic noises, are ADR and Foley, meaning they were recorded in a different time and place than when and where they were originally filmed. Finally, I'd like to say that I'm proud of this project and am eager to share the full 22 minutes with you all when it is completed. But for now, here's a sample of what is to come. Please enjoy.
There's no way to observe them, but I'm almost convinced they're organic. And they're traveling down a concentration gradient from a place of order to disorder. I believe the source is us. What I mean is, all these memories have been collected here by us.
What time is it?
$4:38 after work. Remember that dream I told you about? It looked a lot like this.
I had a dream that the sky changed colors again. It looked a lot like this. It was a week of constant sunsets. The first day was yellow. There was so much haze, like when it rains, then pink, and... My mom was in the kitchen being fed medicine. These two men in suits were looming over her. The last day, it was purple and red. I was in the street, and the street was covered with ladybugs, and I was floating over them. And there were corporate buildings, and one with a broken door, and a man was bent in half, it seemed, trying to fix it. A broken man fixing a broken thing.
Where was he?
Live. There's a delay to the other side. So we're live for questions for group 4. Chris, are you in Canada?
I'm not in Canada, no. Everybody who I've had a Zoom meeting with has asked me about the flag. Every single person.
Well, before anyone asks you questions, I want to thank you, Chris, for being a recording engineer for the department for so many years. You and Mason, yeah, you guys did. We couldn't produce the live events without you guys. Research and recording is the #1 important thing on any event, and so we really appreciate everything you guys did for us. And we're gonna miss you. We miss live events, but we really miss you having you guys help us run our shows. And Alonso, you too, for lifting heavy things in the background somewhere. But you know we value recording pretty highly. So questions for this group? No questions for this group.
Looks like there's one question in the chat for Samantha.
I had to go way back. Can someone read it out?
So the question was basically, I think it's for everyone, right? How long does everyone have to work on these? Incredible work, by the way. Talk through the ICAM major. So anybody would like to get a little angle on the amount of work on the project or the major?
Well, I started working on my project like 2 years ago. Obviously, I haven't been working like full days every day on it, but I first started using the Juice application framework in order to make this plugin about 2 years ago. And so it's been a steep learning curve. Some people have spent more time than I have. Some people have not. It all depends on the project.
And Chris specifically, King has a question, MIDI mappable.
Oh, where's the question? Is it on the YouTube?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube chat.
Is it,
it's from King Brit for Chris.
Okay, I exited out of the YouTube because my Wi-Fi is really slow.
Oh, well, all he wrote was...
So I can only run the Zoom meeting or the YouTube.
All he asked was MIDI mappable.
Is it MIDI mappable?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I controlled it. I used a MIDI keyboard, specifically this one. Yeah, and like the pitch wheel works. The only thing I haven't coded is the controller value.
And there are a couple questions for Nicole. First from King Brit, what inspired the sonic choices?
Most of the sonic choices came from talking with the directors, Ryan Bradford and Emily Butler. I guess like they wanted something that was more like musique concrète, so I put like the train at the end, and also the singing bowl, which is like supposed to be dreamy, because this is like the film is like, did I remember it? Is it a dream? What about technology? I don't know. I also I guess I'll answer this other question about when, where, and how the music would blend in with the diegetic sounds. With that, I was lucky to get like a really good score, and so like for instance the kind of whispering, it's suited to go there at the part where everybody turns, because the scientists that are sitting down are all kind of whispering to each other, and then then it just like went with the dramatic part at that that part. And then I did get some feedback about being intentional about where I put the diegetic sounds, because it should be it should be intentional. Not, you don't have to hear every single sound as if it was happening in real life. So really, I just put some chair creaks and took out a lot of what I had put before. Yeah.
A question for Nicole. I was wondering what some of the weirder, like diegetic replacements with Foley were that you did, if you did any. Like, for example, like swapping out footsteps with sounds that aren't footsteps, let's say.
At this moment, I guess I don't really have like too much like weird Foley stuff. Footsteps are footsteps that are recorded. And also I do have like the Adobe sound effects library and like free sounds. So that was how I got around a lot of the lack of recording equipment in the beginning. So, and also, the Adobe stuff is free and it's pretty good. So I put a whoosh in there. I don't know if anybody noticed. I felt like it was a really good whoosh. I listened to a lot of them, so.
Any other questions in this round? Icons and clapping. All right, we'll move on to group 5.
Really quick, I think there was a question on YouTube from Gabriel. I think it's for Chris. He was asking where to get the plugin.
So at this moment, it's only on my system. I would have to create an installer for it, which I do plan on doing, but it is not available at the moment.
Okay, we'll move on to the next and final group, starting with Kenji's piece.
Hello, my name is Kenji Sommers, and today I will be showcasing my ICAM senior project, The Drop. This project is an exploration of modular composition. But what is that? Modular composition is the process of creating music by combining other pieces of music, labeled as modules. Modules can be anything listed here and more. What I have created is a customizable modular song. I have composed 5 modules that, because of various compositional decisions, are able to be structured in any order to produce a cohesive piece. The audience interacts with these modules through a mobile application I have developed using Swift, which I will later demonstrate. I was inspired to do this project when I learned about the recording process of Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys in class. The sections within this song are very distinct because composer Brian Wilson wrote them independently from one another and physically spliced together the tapes in post-production. Fascinated by the modular process, I wanted to take this idea one step further and compose modules that could be structured in any order. The following is a demo of the app I developed to demonstrate my project. We begin with Module 4. Here's Module 3. Module 1. Module 2. My overall goal with the modules were to preserve continuity while maintaining each module's distinct character. Because the modules truly only share the BPM and key, I was tasked with manipulating the modules to preserve the continuity. Here are some examples of creative decisions I made to achieve this. Module 1 is the first module I composed and established the key. It begins on a G sharp minor chord and ends on a D sharp 7, resolving back into itself. It has a riser to increase the tension of the last chord before it switches to the next module. Module 2 recontextualizes the chords from Module 1, prepending a measure of G sharp minor before the module begins to shift the chord progression start. As a result, the module begins with E major to D sharp 7 and ends on G sharp minor. While the audience may not explicitly hear this, the familiarity of the chords preserves continuity. To ease the transition into Module 3, I highlighted G sharp in the bass and synths and left out most chord tones. The last chord in both Module 1 and 2 flow into G sharp better than an E major chord. To set up the transition to another module, the bass descends from B to A sharp, suggesting a resolution to G sharp. This works well since modules 1 and 2 begin with a G sharp minor chord and resolves the musical phrase upon transition. I approached the beginning of Module 4 similar to Module 3 and had an electric piano play a G sharp power chord to clearly establish the tonic. The module ends on a D sharp 7 chord, which resolves to G sharp minor. To amplify this tension, I soloed the vocal to create a vacuum of sound that draws the listener's anticipation and propels the song forward. During my exploration, I found that preserving continuity with respect to a specific module grouping is contingent on manipulating smaller modules. I began my investigation concentrating on each module as an independent song section. However, during composition, I began to see each sample and melodic phrase as their own micro-modules that preserve continuity. Extrapolating to higher orders of module scale, DJ mixes and symphonies are modular music comprised of macro modules. To preserve continuity on this level, DJs, for example, would bridge songs using effects like pitch shift or reverb watches on the individual tracks themselves. Within each order of module magnitude, preserving continuity is contingent on manipulating the lower orders of magnitude.
Hi everyone, my name is Yuanmei. I'm a senior ICAM music student. My senior project is a post-punk instrumental piece called Lucid Dream. composed by my collaborator Jesse West and myself. Jesse played the drums and the guitar lead while I played the bass and did the recording and mixing in this project. This project turned out to be something totally different from what I have imagined originally due to the pandemic. We were stuck in a situation with absolutely no recording gears or space to play it and record. From there, it has been about problem solving and using creativity overcoming the obstacles. And eventually we pieced together a skeleton of a studio with one interface and one SM57 microphone. I have learned a lot from the process of this project because we had to stretch our very limited resources and time. Thank you.
From as rare as 1 in 20,000 to as prevalent as 1 in 200, those who experience synesthesia, the anomalous blending of the senses in which the simulation of one modality triggers sensation in a different modality, share stories of beautiful and colorful experiences. The major neural hypotheses propose that synesthesia occurs due to neural hyperconnectivity among sensory areas in the cortex, meaning increased connections between the parts of the brain that hold our senses. Synesthetes may experience the blending of any of the 5 senses, however, a vast majority report color as being closely linked to their senses. The first characteristic of synesthesia is that the experience is involuntary and passive. The subject does not control them, but experiences them as they happen. The second characteristic means that the experiences of synesthesia do not occur inside one's mind. Moreover, they are perceived to take place within the subject's personal space. The third characteristic of synesthesia is that the sensations are generic and durable. Although there is no concise explanation as to why synesthesia occurs yet, nor do we have any definitive proof of its existence, I find that understanding a part of the human experience which is different from our own, as just as valid and just as real, is what brings us closer together.
For my senior project, I set out to design an art installation that emulated the experience of a synesthete by providing an immersive experience. I planned to create a structure made out of foam with attached hanging pieces of projection scrim to be hung from the ceiling to which visuals paired with music would be projected upon. This way, by entering the installation, anyone would be able to experience the perspective of a synesthete. I had hoped to create this experience to be as immersive as possible, but with the unplanned challenges affecting this quarter in the class of 2020 senior projects, I've chosen to still find a way to help you see life as a synesthete, if only virtually. I ask of you now to put on your headphones and to open your eyes, to open your mind, and to open your heart to all of the different experiences of those in the world around you, regardless of who they might be. Empathy makes us all human. Accepting, respecting, validating, and understanding all walks of life and their experiences allows us to be closer, especially important in the turbulent time we are living in.
Xenja Productions presents Dark Star. Dark Star is an audiovisual story about the karmic retribution we invoke when we set about exploiting our environment. It is at the intersection of music production, computer art practices, and my identity as an artist. This project was visually inspired by my exposure to works of fiction such as Frank Herbert's Dune, Jodorowsky's failed adaptation of Dune, and Mad Max Fury Road. Musically, I drew inspiration from progressive bands such as Animals as Leaders, King Crimson, and the Devin Townsend Project. The subterranean elements of Dark Star were directly inspired by the actual Dark Star cave system in Uzbekistan.
I learned about the cave system in the March 2017 issue of National Geographic. The work itself has two main components, an audio portion and a visual portion. The audio portion is a 14-minute long, genre-blending conceptual EP. The visual component consists of conceptual art I produced using various mediums, such as digital painting, macro photography, photo editing, and GIFs. To experience Darkstar, please find the following link in the comments section of this live stream. Once you've reached the page, simply scroll through, playing the songs in order while observing the accompanying words and images. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to view my project. If you would like to do so, you can support and follow my work on Instagram, on major streaming services via my artist name, or by checking out the rest of my site. Finally, I'd like to thank the UCSD Music Department and the ICAM program for the opportunities they have provided me.
I'm curious if anybody has synesthesia in this group.
I wish.
I'm curious what the world is like. You know, it's kind of like that people who have perfect pitch at times, they have difficult lives because almost everything is off tune for them.
Right.
I wish.
There's a question for Nicole. Oh, nope, sorry. Hey, look at me reading an old feed. No new questions. New questions in the room. No?
I was wondering, Kaleigh, how did you make that visual?
I used Adobe After Effects, and I used Ableton to make the music.
Very cool.
I was wondering, Kaleigh, like how many other people I guess you talked to with synesthesia, and if maybe if you were able to compare how differently it affects someone person to person.
Unfortunately, due to COVID, I couldn't reach out to as many synesthetes as I wanted to, but through my research, I learned that it's different like between synesthetes, but the same for each synesthete, so I was able to go off of that to make my project.
There's a question King has for Yuanmei. What room did you record drums in?
It was just a practice room I found on week 9. Nothing special about it, but yeah.
Martine, lots of chat. They want your link. They want you to drop your web link into the YouTube chat to access your project.
Yes, I did. It's Xenja.productions/dark-star- It's also in the program description, I believe.
Okay.
If you check that out. Yeah. Sorry. In hindsight, I should have included some audio samples.
Any other questions? I don't think I want to read some of these things. You guys can read them. It's pretty amusing, though. We're just basically all sitting here watching the YouTube feed. It's pretty fun.
What a meatball situation looks like.
Yeah, come on, somebody give him back his meatballs.
This is pretty much like my Zoom talks with my family. So anyway, professors, anything else?
No, I think we're coming to the end of the year, and you know, somehow the end of the year, this was the beginning of live streaming for music department. I feel proud, and I want to say all you guys should be really, really proud. It's amazing what you've done. It was fantastic experiencing. It was, again, a true privilege to be a part of it, but coming and seeing it in this way, coming together, it's a whole lot of work you guys have done. So congratulations to all of you. And I want to thank all of our listeners as well who've been with us. You know, this maybe for a little while we're going to have this form of connection. So thanks for being with us.
And we'll clean up and streamline things. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.